Hello, we are Team 2, and this is our presentation based on Patrick Lencioni's leadership fable, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy. Hello, my name is Catherine, and I am going to discuss the reality and fiction of teams. In Patrick Lencioni's leadership fable, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, he highlights the harsh realities of teamwork and leadership in the workplace. We are introduced to Decision Tech, a technology company who consistently faces complex issues that are reflected in Lencioni's 5 dysfunctions: the absence of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and the inattention to results. We can all attest to the fact that teamwork is extremely important within any organization and is a vital ingredient to success. However, many workplaces lack teamwork. The ability to work as one is what separates teams that are truly effective and successful from those that are not. As author Patrick Lencioni states, not finance, not strategy, not technology. It is teamwork that remains the ultimate competitive advantage because it is so powerful and so rare. At its start, Decision Tech Inc. seemed to be invincible. Decision Tech was based just outside the infamous Silicon Valley, a place where innovation and creation is flourished and where the bold can make both a name and fortune for themselves. With their high energy, Decision Tech reflected the Silicon Valley culture that perhaps has resulted in their success at inception. Decision Tech was off to a strong and steady start with a well-equipped and experienced team, eager admirers knocking at their door looking for employment, top-tier investors, and what seemed to be an indestructible business plan that would make them victorious. However, the seemingly imperishable and fruitful company began to deteriorate. Quickly, we saw Decision Tech become the company that we came to know, relate to, and empathize with throughout the course of the fable. The following factors attributed to their breakdown: a shift in power resulting in leadership crisis, failure to meet critical deadlines, unexpected departure of key employees, deteriorated morale within the workplace, lack of focus on results and future visions, avoided accountability, failure to commit, fear of conflict, and the absence of trust among employees. Our team had two main similarities to Decision Tech's team. To start, Decision Tech, a team consisting of over 100 employees, is a fairly large company. When specifically looking at the 8 main characters, Catherine, Jeff, Mikey, Martin, JR, Carlos, Jan, and Nick, we see how both their individual experiences and workplace experiences make them unique. The same was true with our team. Our individual differences are significant. Factors such as personality, demographics, gender, age, race, etc., ability and skills, perceptions and performance were all things that divided us. Our team has distinct and impressive educational backgrounds and workplace experiences. Christina has an undergraduate degree in business management with a specialization in marketing and a minor in journalism. Currently, she is pursuing an MBA with a concentration in innovation. She has work experience in both marketing and management. Christina was a marketing assistant for Research Technologies, where she grew into her current position as the graduate assistant manager. In addition, she also has previous experience as a district manager for a retail corporation. I, Catherine, have an undergraduate degree in business management with a specialization in marketing. I have internship experience in sales and marketing in both the print and entertainment media industry. Currently, I am pursuing an MBA in marketing. Sundaram has graduate degrees in electronics and computer science. He has work experience as a software architect and software development manager in large companies. Currently, he is pursuing an MBA in general management. Lastly, Teresa has an undergraduate degree in biology with a minor in English. She also is a doctor of medicine and has practiced emergency medicine for 24 years, as well as being an administrative physician for a surgical office for the last 6 years. Currently, she is pursuing an MBA in healthcare management. Our next similarity to Decision Tech was our desire and will to succeed. As determined as Decision Tech's new CEO, Catherine was to change her newly inherited workplace We were determined to prosper as a team. Our mission was simple: complete each task throughout the semester with success and as a cohesive unit. All four of us had a mutual understanding of this mission and understood the ways in which we were going to achieve it. In addition to our similarities, we also saw many differences between our team and the Decision Tech team. First was our culture of productivity. During staff meetings, the Decision Tech employees failed at making decisions. Conversations and discussions were not constructive and lacked exchanges. Underlying tensions between employees due to opposing interests, poor communication, and differing values shined through at these meetings. On the other hand, our meetings and exchanges were frequent, rapid, effective, and engaging. The team had a clear understanding about what was to be discussed, however, nothing was ever off limits. Therefore, team meetings were purposeful, collaborative, and decisive. Second, we created a culture of accountability. Unlike the team at Decision Tech, our team had high standards of behavior and performance. Teammates held one another accountable for their work and participation. From day one, with the creation of our team interaction plan, roles were clearly defined and our team expectations were stated. Our team interaction plan served as our employee manual. Third, our ability to trust in our differences. As the CEO of Decision Tech, Catherine states, "Trust is the foundation of real teamwork." While the Decision Tech employees had a lack of trust among their team members, we did not. Trust is about opening up with one another and understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses. As Catherine states, members of great teams do not hold back from one another. Our team ultimately credits our ability to be successful throughout this term to our ability to communicate in a candid, respectful, and purposeful manner. We truly began with the end in mind. My fellow teammate Christina will now discuss the significant characters.
The Decision Tech executive team consists of Catherine, Jeff, Mikey, Martin, JR, Carlos, Jan, and Nick. Catherine is the new CEO of Decision Tech. She is an older woman who has experience in operational roles at non-tech related companies. This caused the existing executive team to doubt her abilities to lead a tech-savvy corporation, but her conceptual and interpersonal skills made up for her lack of technical skills. Catherine was very observant her first few weeks and determined that the lack of functioning teamwork was the underlying problem causing the decline of Decision Tech. She focused heavily on repairing her team by hosting multiple off-site retreats that revolved around 5 pillars of dysfunction amongst the team and how they could be prevented going forward. Catherine won over her team, those of which who stayed, by leading with emotional intelligence. She exhibited self-awareness and self-regulation in situations where her team challenged her at the off-site meetings. For example, when she asked Mikey to resign, Catherine felt anxious and remorseful, but she recognized it and stayed calm and reasonable even when Mikey became upset. Catherine utilized her empathetic and interpersonal skills to help build relationships with her teams through exercises, such as sharing simple facts about their personal lives during the offsite. Her use of emotional intelligence helped her develop a charismatic leader-follower relationship with her remaining team. Although there was resistance at first, the team no longer questioned Catherine and accepted her direction and delegations because they wanted to better the company and knew that this was the best way. Jeff is the original CEO of Decision Tech, who was demoted to the head of business development due to his lack of leadership and management skills. He has great interpersonal skills and an extroverted personality when it came to investors, but lacked charisma with his own team. Although he brought in much of the funding for Decision Tech, he didn't motivate or empower the executive team. Meetings were dry and there was no incentives to work harder. Jeff had more follower characteristics than leader characteristics. He was willing to do anything for the better of the company and even went as far as stepping down from Catherine's direct reports because he knew it would benefit Decision Tech. Mikey was the VP of Marketing at Decision Tech and had a great reputation for brand management in Silicon Valley. Despite her expertise, Mikey created a hostile environment for the team and was disengaging and discouraging during team-building activities. She exhibits 2 out of the 3 traits in the Dark Triad. Mikey was Machiavellian by putting her own interests above the group, like when she didn't want to attend the sales meeting because she thought it was irrelevant to her team. She was also narcissistic, with a sense of entitlement and superiority because of her reputation in the marketing field. She thought she was irreplaceable, and because of that, she could act however she pleased. Mikey was the bad apple of the group, and Catherine needed to remove her in order to develop and maintain the positive culture and environment she envisioned for Decision Tech. JR was the head of sales at Decision Tech. He had a reputation of always agreeing to do whatever the team asked, but had a lack of follow-through. He showed ownership in the lack of follow-through, but never did anything to change it. He would just acknowledge that it happened, apologize for it, and then the cycle just continued. This is a situation where the team showed lack of accountability. They allowed this behavior to go on without calling JR out and figuring out a solution going forward. He was the first to leave Decision Tech to return to his previous corporation. JR didn't believe in the team-building aspect of being on the executive team, so in the long run, it's better for Decision Tech that he left. Had he stayed, it would result in resentment toward the team and contribute to a negative environment. Martin is the founder and inventor of Decision Tech and the chief technologist. Like Mikey, Martin also exhibited a dark triad trait of narcissism. He rarely participated in constructive conversation amongst the team, and when he did, he spoke with superiority and sarcasm. He practiced active transactional leadership by only commenting to correct someone's mistake. Through the off-site team building, Martin came around and increased his engagement and positive participation in the executive team's meetings and collaborations. He now works with the sales department to cross-train his engineering team to assist in sales, showing he is more concerned with the better of the company as a whole. Carlos is the head of customer support at Decision Tech and was one of the most humble on the team. He was a great team player and always listened intently and spoke constructively to other members. Catherine saw that he picked up many of the more tedious tasks to alleviate the pressure from the other team members. Behavior like this indicated that Carlos had the potential to be in the in-group for Catherine. His trustworthiness and attentiveness allowed her to focus on the bigger picture while he took care of these tasks. Something Carlos struggled with was accountability. Since he didn't want to upset anyone, he often avoided confrontation with other teammates, even if they were in the wrong. Contrary to common belief, conflict is beneficial to a team, and avoiding it only hinders the team's potential. Carlos saw how important this was when the executive team explored the importance of departments working together to make the company a success. If the company was failing, no matter how well your department was doing, you were failing, because the company is the number one concern. Anne is the Chief Financial Officer at Decision Tech. She is very detail-oriented and prided herself in her high technical skill in the finance area. The board instilled a lot of trust in Jan and her abilities to keep the company's finances under control. Jan was a very charismatic leader to her financial team and openly spoke of how she would do anything for her staff to help them. She also exhibited traits of a proactive personality by taking control and removing obstacles for her followers to achieve their goals. In return, her staff was extremely loyal to her. Nick started as the Chief Operating Officer at Decision Tech, and in addition took on the role of sales when JR resigned. When Jeff was CEO, Nick felt a strong lack of motivation, empowerment, and meaning in his daily endeavors. He felt as if the company was restricting his potential for success. When a manager gains power like Nick did by demanding and receiving the COO title, a negative effect can be the hunger for more power. Nick began making rash decisions to benefit himself rather than the company, like the suggestion to acquire Green Banana. When confronted by Catherine, Nick made a turn for the better and wanted to help the team more and proved this by taking on sales when JR quit. Even though it was backtracking for his personal career and goals, he made the sacrifice for the better of the team because he had the most expertise in it. Sundaram and I both connected most with Martin because of his relation to technology in the organization. He is a software engineer like Martin, and I manage technology-related facilities. We both attend meetings with laptops always open, as it is common IT culture in most places. When the topics aren't relevant, we find ourselves doing other work. In addition to Martin, I also connect with Jan. She has a charismatic leader-follower relationship with her staff that I am working toward with my staff now. Like her, I do everything I can to protect and set up my employees for success. They often take on extra responsibilities for me because of this. I'm also extremely detail-oriented like her. Teresa connected most with Catherine. They are both women around the same age, with a family and children that they must factor into their outlook on life. Both have little high-tech experience and don't feel it necessarily affects the quality of the work to be completed, and began studying business after a prior career path. Like Catherine, Teresa doesn't mind taking a challenge head-on and uses a direct style of leadership. She agrees with her methods to observe and listen in order to formulate goals and then make the best of it. Teresa also identifies with Carlos's tendency to take responsibility for most aspects of any venture she's involved in and take tasks that no one else might want. She is also a stickler for detail, similar to Jan. Catherine identifies most with Jan. Like Jan, Catherine is very invested in her work and treats professional problems as if they truly are her own. Both Catherine and Jan recognize and understand the importance of taking pride in one's work and the benefits such an understanding yields. No matter what they work on, whether it's well liked, of interest, or dreaded, both attempt to complete it to the best of their ability. Maintaining a sense of ownership and pride in any task assigned increases one's desire to give a peak performance. This belief translates into their reputation and overall character. Diligence and tenacity serve both well. Through reassurance, Jan was successful in creating a well-defined culture with her financial team. Both Catherine and Jan seek approval from their teammates and followers through trust. Often, Catherine finds her time being devoted to those around her. Building others up and tackling issues with teammates hand in hand takes up most of Catherine's minutes. However, like Jan, she sees the extreme importance of this and its positive.
This is Sundaram, and I will be talking about my experience with the team conflicts. First, let us see the factors that could contribute to team conflicts. They are groupthink, free riders, negativity and bad apples, and lack of cooperation. What is groupthink? Groupthink happens as a result of too much of cohesion in the team. Cohesion refers to the condition of having similar or identical type of team members in a team, or the lack of diversity in the team. Groupthink also could be as a result of too much of directives from the leader. The team members may not have the opportunity to be creative in solving an issue. The problem with the groupthink is it will lead to poor decision making, as no one in the team would like to consider and debate alternative solutions due to the fear that it may lead to conflicts within the team. The next factor is free riders. This is also known as social loafing. This conflict arises due to unequal contributions from the members. For some reasons, people tend to contribute less while in a team than doing alone, probably due to the thinking that his or her contributions are not going to matter much. This is very commonly encountered problem at school and also at work. The third factor is negativity and bad apples. Negativity of one member who is unhappy or unmotivated can quickly spread and damage the effectiveness of a team. And the bad apples are the ones who are focused on their own goals and unwilling to contribute to the team goals. The fourth factor is lack of cooperation. It is caused mainly due to lack of trust between the members. When there is trust, cooperation comes naturally between the members, and there is a sense of safety within the team. In the absence of trust, cooperation will also be absent in the team. This issue will lead to inability to coordinate activities and achieve the team goals. In this leadership course, while doing our team assignments, did we have any such conflicts discussed above? My answer is no. Also, we believe that all the conflicts discussed above are not applicable to our team because of the limited scope and time of the team projects. However, at the beginning of this semester, we thought we experienced a lack of cooperation from one of the members of our team, as he was not responding to any of our emails. After a few days, we found out that he had dropped out of the course. So that ended what we feared as lack of cooperation. Though we did not face any conflict in this short summer course, I faced substantial team conflicts in one of the courses of spring semester this year. The team consisted of 4 members, and one team member, in my opinion, was a free rider. Also, we did not get any kind of cooperation from him, in spite of our best efforts to make him contribute to the team. He never responded to any of our communications. His portion of the assignments used to remain blank till the last minute. he always started working just a few hours before the due time. That made us all very anxious, and in fact, a few of the assignments were submitted without properly completing. Consequently, our team lost several points. The end result was, at the end, the overall performance of the team was not the best. Probably individually we could have achieved better results on those assignments. Here are some ways to resolve the team conflicts discussed above. To resolve free riding, we should assign specific activities for each person and also clearly indicate the date and time of completion for each activity. What is expected from each member should be clearly communicated. We should update the leader or the professor as soon as the free riding is perceived. At the end of the semester, appropriate feedback should be given about each team member. To resolve lack of cooperation, we should try to build trust among the team members. Though it is not easy to achieve in a short period of time, we should make conscious effort to build trust among the team members. If one member is not cooperating, another member of the team should have one-on-one talk with that person. It could help build the trust. The groupthink can be avoided by creating a diverse team instead of a very cohesive team.
We will now move on to the discussion of Lencioni's theory. Lencioni's theory consists of the 5 dysfunctions. The first is the absence of trust. As discussed by Lencioni on page 195 of his text, trust is confidence among team members that their peers' intentions are good and that there is no reason to be protective or careful around the group. Trust is not based on past performance, but is a groundwork laid for forward movement of the team. Given trust, a safe zone is created in which team members know that regardless of the action or the tone of discussion, that all interactions are meant to improve team dynamics and performance. The second dysfunction is fear of conflict. As discussed by Lencioni, this is fear based on destructive fighting or interpersonal politics. The goal should be constructive conflict, whereby any discussion, be it passionate or not, should be a forum for discussion of ideas, settling of disputes, or presentation of opinions. Constructive conflict allows for airing of grievances and a feeling of being heard. This in turn eliminates the tensions that often remain when team members feel they must withhold opinions in a politically correct environment. The third dysfunction is lack of commitment. The idea behind this dysfunction is the need for buy-in of the team. Lencioni amends common belief with 2 stipulations. First, commitment does not demand consensus, and second, commitment does not demand certainty. Commitment instead requires complete consideration of all ideas and a decision to be made. The necessary decision may end up being incorrect, but there is an acceptance of this at the outset and the possibility of amending the decision. Such commitment essentially gives the team permission to move forward with the work necessary to achieve its goals. The fourth dysfunction is avoidance of accountability. Accountability discussions are a measure of the true strength of personal relationships. In dysfunctional teams, members do not wish to confront teammates due to fear of discord secondary to lack of trust. Teams with strong interpersonal relationships have 2 advantages. First, team members will likely complete responsibilities to avoid disappointing their teammates. And second, if necessary, team members will address problems within the team because of the established trust between members. The fifth and final dysfunction is inattention to results. This dysfunction stems from erroneously measuring success. Success is erroneously measured when it is measured as individual output or from the status derived from merely being a member of a certain team. The true measure of success lies in the results achieved by the team as a whole. The best way to avoid inattention to results is to clearly communicate the desired goals and any rewards that might be associated with achieving those goals. When rewards are necessary, they should not be based on effort alone, but on achievement. We will now move on to the discussion of the positive aspects of Lencioni's team theory. Lencioni's theory adds to the information previously acquired from the Nahavandi text in Chapter 8. Lencioni's theory centers on 2 main points. The first is that the goal of any team is to achieve greater performance output than that achievable by individuals alone. The second is that team performance is affected by the psychosocial aspects of interpersonal relationships. Lencioni's theory augments the ideas of team-based organization found as a measure of organizational structure in Nahavandi. It provides an association to the team characteristics provided by Nahavandi in his text on Table 8-4. Whereas Nahavandi's presentation of team attributes seem to be separate and distinct, Lencioni's pyramidal system seems to interrelate the qualities and make them more meaningful. Lencioni's theory can be appreciated for another reason. It adds to the information presented in the Nahavandi text, in that it considers the aspects of our human condition that can negatively impact the performance of a team. Lencioni's theory explains why teams fail, not just how they fail. He offers sound principles for overcoming dysfunction, such as the histories exercises to avoid lack of trust and the worst-case scenario analysis to avoid lack of commitment. Lencioni also provides leaders a framework to guide their development. He essentially gives leaders a playbook that can be utilized to build a strong and cohesive team. The discussion of Lencioni's theory would not be complete without discussing the negative aspects of the theory. Lencioni's theory has limited applicability based on time requirements. In practice, the effective use of Lencioni's team theory would require a lengthy startup time, whereby the group would establish the background relationships necessary to apply the theory to everyday team situations. Lencioni himself admits this fault. He states that teamwork ultimately comes down to practicing a small set of principles over time. Our team's experience of Lencioni's theory was that it did not particularly apply to our group. Our group had limited time to work together. This, in theory, should have increased the likelihood of our team dysfunction. Our team, however, overcame the time barrier because of 4 reasons. First, the project was limited in scope. Second, our individual responsibilities were clearly delineated early in the process. Third, our responsibilities coincided well with our strengths. And fourth, we were essentially a self-managed team with each member functioning as a self-leader. The analysis of Lencioni's theory reveals a second negative aspect. His theory has limited scope of applicability based on organizational structure. Lencioni's theory is more applicable to horizontally structured teams than to vertically structured teams. His theory largely deals with managing behavior between separate but equal team players in order to maximize the team's effectiveness. This, of course, is the structure that we see with horizontal teams. The structure of vertical teams, however, has a hierarchical system. Leaders generally monitor the team for accountability and attention to detail of a given project. The disputes that would normally arise from dysfunctions at the higher levels of Lencioni's team pyramid would in theory be corrected by the leader. This, of course, is a negative aspect of Lencioni's theory. After analysis of Lencioni's team theory, Team 2 came up with a fairly mixed opinion. The general consensus was that the theory had its merits if it were applied to establish teams with a projected need for long-term interaction. Regarding Team 2, however, we felt there was limited applicability. As discussed earlier, this was likely based on our limited interaction and the limited scope of our project requirements. Our team also functioned more like a self-managed team. Team 2 overall felt that Lencioni's theory could be applicable to experiences in our future. In summary, the 5 dysfunctions of a team was an interesting learning tool. The use of a novel to transmit the author's theory made learning the material less tedious than a textbook. The story revealed the applicability of Lencioni's theory in a fictional but believable situation. While our team did not have the opportunity to truly put the theory into practice, the story made the understanding of the concepts come to life. Our team's individual responses to the characters gave a glimpse of how we may have responded given face-to-face interaction. Regarding team conflict, our team was successful in avoiding conflict for 2 reasons. As stated earlier, our team was essentially a group of self-leaders functioning as a self-managed team. We also clearly communicated each team member's tasks at the beginning of the assignment. This helped us to avoid conflict. To summarize Lencioni's theory in particular, it is helpful to compare it to the information in Nahavandi's text regarding the characteristics of teams. Lencioni's theory helps us to synthesize the information seen in Nahavandi in a new way. By linking the team characteristics, we begin to understand why a team might fail. A weakness in one link could break the chain, so to speak. The assignment was beneficial beyond just relaying information, however. While not applicable to our situation due to the brevity and narrow scope of our project, the information will prove beneficial in our future endeavors. Our own handling of the assignment was beneficial for a second reason. It proved to be an exercise in self-management teamwork. Thank you for watching Team 2's discussion of the 5 dysfunctions of a team. Any questions, comments, or concerns can be directed to us via our emails.